I'd like to call to order the January 24th meeting of the Code Enforcement and Nuisance Board. Roll call, please.
Here. Dearbone.
Here.
Holman.
Here.
LaPointe.
Here.
Harmon.
Yes.
All right. See, we need to have approval of our minutes from the November 22nd meeting. Do we have any comments? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So move.
Second. Harmon and LaPointe. Roll call.
Dearbone.
Yes.
Holman.
Yes.
LaPointe.
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
All right, if the staff will stand up. All right. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, thank you. We'll start off with our hearing agenda. Our first one is an appeal, case number 1, code compliance, which is case number 2022-7103, citation 2022-12847.6, 1039 Stubbin Street, owner Alvin, Harry, and Andrew Ford, respondent Alvin Ford, officer Heather Lashley. Is there anyone here on that case? All right. So, Ms. Lashley?
This case was the result of a proactive inspection on September 21st, 2022. During the inspection, the following violations were observed: weeds and grasses. A courtesy letter was sent to the PVA listed owner and address on that date. A reinspection was conducted on September 28, 2022, and a notice of violation was sent to the PVA listed owner and address on that date with the compliance reinspection date of October 3rd, 2022. On October 4th, October 7th, and October 17th, the property was reinspected and remained in violation. On October 17th, I called and spoke with the person that answers the phone at Ford's Furniture. She checked and said the mowing is scheduled for today. I thanked her. On 10/21, the property was reinspected and remained in violation. On 10/24, I called to try and speak with the person at the store in charge of this property, and the person who answered the phone told me he had to run out. I asked her to please give him the message that when they're addressing the overgrown grass, to please have them pick up all of the scattered trash on the Payne Street side of the property. I advised I would be issuing a citation this Thursday if the property is not mowed entirely. She stated she would pass this information along. On October 24th, Pierce Ford from Ford's Furniture called me back. He stated they have someone contracted every 4 weeks to mow the lot. I explained to him that this case has been open for 32 days, which began with the courtesy letter. He said they would have it mowed when it gets too long. I told him that it is well over 10 inches and this is against city code, and mentioned the scattered trash on the Payne Street side. On October 27th, the property was reinspected and remained in violation. A citation was issued and posted on the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. A work order was submitted the same day for a city contractor to mow the lot. The cost of the double mow of a large lot is $150, and the city contractor mowed it the next morning. On November 2nd, Alvin Ford called upset about the citation and being charged for mowing. He said, "All the crack houses over there, and you stay honest about that grass." He explained they have a contractor that mows it on a schedule, and I told him I sent the courtesy letter well over a month ago, and it still had not been mowed. He said he couldn't understand why it was in violation, and I told him it is a violation when the grass on the property is 10 plus inches, 10 and over 10 inches tall, which it has been for some time. He wanted to have someone meet him at the property so they could be aware of expectations, then saying, "Well, it's mowed now, I'm not sure how that would matter." He said he thinks the city has something up their sleeve with them, and that is why they are being picked on. I explained they are expected to maintain their property like every other property owner in the city. This case was open for 37 days, and just a note, there have been 22 code compliance cases at this location since 2011, 17 of which have been for grass. This was the 10th code compliance case for overgrown grass at this location in the last 2 years.
All right, who do we have for, if you'll come up and I'll swear you in.
Thank you. I'm Alvin Ford.
All right. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you
I
God?
do.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
It sounds like we're pretty rotten citizens, and I apologize for that. We're not that way. We mow this field once a month, from April through October. We came to mow it in October, but it had already been mowed, so I'm told. So if the grass was high and on October 24th, that means from September 29 to October 24th, it grew 8 inches, I guess. But then y'all mowed it. But that, that's not the point. The point is, I see your grass, and I see how tall it is. It had to have been a day or two before it was mowed, because if you mow it every month, it just can't grow that big. But I see it. There it is. I can't argue with that. But I'm telling you, we mowed it in April, May, June, July, September, October, and in September. The last of September, we mowed again in October, but didn't have the opportunity because it was mowed. And it looks nice. I've got pictures of that property now, if y'all would like to look at them. And it looks wonderful. I've got pictures of property across the street that looks tremendously worse than that. We've got pictures of properties all the way around, from abandoned cars to overgrown weeds and fences and abandoned buildings, not to mention what goes on across the street. That doesn't matter, doesn't affect this, but it's not well cared for, and we take pride in our property. If you can see, our building is painted. The buildings around them are not. They're rusty. They're falling down. And if our guy, if his schedule is correct, it's just almost impossible, even though I see the dates on there. There it is. Well, November looks pretty good, doesn't it? Would you all like to see the adjoining properties, or do you already know what they look like? Or does it matter?
In this case, it actually doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Those will be things that they'll take care of, so
Well, I wonder if they've been given a citation.
that'll be on the staff to take care of, but in this case, we need to stick to
Some
this property.
reason, you seem to be picking on us. I feel like you're picking on us, but I don't know what we've done. We've done something wrong, because we try to do the right thing all the time. Do you want to see the pictures of our building? Like to look at them?
Yeah.
This is the side of the building where this field is the grass violation. This next one is in between the two warehouses over there. What we did may not have been the right thing at the time. We, at the advice of our lawn guy, we let the grasses next to the building in the fall grow up to maybe 2 feet tall, because you just can't trim them every time. So he said, let them grow up, we'll spray them, let them die down, and then we'll weed eat them, and then you've got them under control. So that's where this is. This is after that's done. Hold it 2 sides too. This is the back side. That's in between. Neighbor. Neighbors.
So by your own admission, you grew it 2 feet, which is over the 10 in,
Around the edge of the building, we did.
which is over the 10 inches that's supposed to be by law, correct? Yeah, that's what I'm asking, sir. So by your own admission, you're saying that you.
That's exactly right.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we had that.
Get rid of it. If it's Johnson grass, you familiar with Johnson grass?
Yes.
It grows like crazy, it's tough, and it's hard to do anything with a weed eater. There's another neighbor.
So we need to make sure you're by a microphone.
Oh, you wanna talk to me?
Yeah, yeah.
That's all right, hand it across the table.
I just can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Hello. Got me? Okay, this is another neighbor across the street.
Now I'm going to, you've showed us several neighborhood photos, but again, that does not have any bearing on this particular case. So, I mean, you can show those to us, and we've looked at them,
I'd
but
just like you to know that there are other things going on.
Again,
Maybe we can get that cleaned up too.
understandable, but that will be for them to bring before us and to talk to them. We're strictly focused on your property and your potential violations, so.
You don't have to look at them. Just go, I don't want you, I won't show them to you. You don't have to look.
So
Now,
do you have, go ahead.
this property is mowed every month, and the same vacant property next to our furniture store is mowed at the exact same time, and we have never had a citation.
So, I know this is a note on here about the amount of violations that you have had with the grass. With that being said, have you guys not looked into making sure that you don't end up continuing to get these violations? Because it would seem that if you have had 10 violations or cases in the past 2 years, that would tell me that something is not matching up. Maybe it's your lawn person who you're working with needs to change his schedule. Something needs to happen, because 10 don't just happen by accident.
That's true, and I think a lot of that is timing too. When like one of the dates she gave me, it was mowed the very next day. I think it was the 29th of September. A lot of that's timing, but you're right. Yeah, we can look at our schedule.
And
We can certainly do a better job, there's no question.
And that's really all it comes down to, is compliance, making sure that if you're seeing that this is a pattern and a strong pattern, that rather than try to say, well, it's, the neighbors or whatever else, it comes down to you all working with your lawn care people and making sure that this is taken care of. Maybe it's, you got it every month, maybe it's a 3-week thing, maybe it's something where you're adjusting the schedule for the weather or whatever it may be, because, I mean, I really don't
I
personally.
can't argue that, yeah, possibly we're not paying close enough attention to it. We thought we were, but apparently we weren't.
Does anybody have any thoughts or comments?
I do have a question. So the fine is for $104, but it costs $150 to mow, or does he get them both? Yes.
So the citation was the 104.57, and then we also have that additional charge for the double mow because our contractor mowed it.
So I will make a motion that we uphold the citation and the fine in the amount of $104.57.
I'll second.
Roll call. It's Dearbone and Holman.
Dearbone,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes.
LaPointe. Harmon.
Yes.
So that means you will have to pay the fine and citation, but please work with your lawn care people so that we don't have to go through this again.
Will do.
Thank you, sir. All right, our next case is case number 2, Animal Protection, case number 2022-8280, citation number 2222-15979, 1233 Lois Lane. Owner Michael and Christine Guire, respondent Michael Guire, officer Katya Ford. Do we have anybody here for that case? Okay, so, Ms. Ford, if you will go ahead.
Officer Hudson, I wrote the KRS citation, but we were both on the call. This case was a result of a dispatched call on 12/19 of 2022. Upon arrival investigation of the situation, the following violation of city ordinance was determined: vicious or dangerous animal. There were 2 calls to BGPD dispatch stating that the neighbor's Rottweiler attacked Sandra McCoy and her dog. The second caller stated that he fired a shotgun in the air and the Rottweiler ran off, but was still loose in the area. Upon arrival, the neighbor at 1237 Lois met us in his yard and stated that the McCoys had left and to take their dog to the vet. He stated he witnessed the Rottweiler run back into its yard and he shut the gate, but it would not latch. He stated he put a brick in front of the gate in an attempt to contain the dog. Officer Hudson, I checked the gate and the Rottweiler was in the backyard, but the gate was not secure. I took several more bricks and the garbage can to try to keep the gate shut, and then made an attempt to contact the owner of the Rottweiler by knocking on the door and through the video doorbell. Lewis McCoy and his wife Sandra returned and stated that they had taken their dog Jack to Greystone Veterinary Hospital and he had extensive injuries. They were currently trying to stabilize him. Sandra McCoy stated that she was walking Jack on a leash and was at her mailbox when the Rottweiler from 2 doors down came charging out into the street. She stated the Rottweiler grabbed her dog and started shaking him. Sandra stated she was pulling the leash and tried to hit the dog, but it would not let go. She stated it had Jack on the ground and was still shaking him. Sandra stated she sustained injuries to her knees from being knocked on the ground and had an injury on her lip. She advised she was yelling and screaming for help and kept trying to get the dog to leave. Even after the Rottweiler let go of Jack, the dog stayed and would come at her anytime she tried to pick her dog up or move. She was able to call her husband and he came out with a shotgun and fired a shot into the air. The Rottweiler ran off after the gunshot. The McCoys stated that this is not the first time this dog had attacked one of their dogs. They had advised that last year after the tornado, they were walking their other dog on a leash in the field behind their house, and the Rottweiler came running from its backyard and attacked them. They stated they did not report that incident because of the situation, and the neighbors did not know that their fence had been knocked down by the wind. During this time, Michael McGuire, the owner of the Rottweiler, arrived. He stated his dog was not even supposed to be outside. He did not know how the dog had gotten out of the house. He was advised of the city ordinances and that the dog would now be determined a vicious animal under the city ordinance. He was also told he would have to keep the dog in a secure enclosure and handle the dog according to the stipulations for keeping a vicious animal. He stated he understood, but his wife goes jogging with the dog, and he was informed that according to the ordinance, she would no longer be able to do this. On 12/19 of 2022, Officer Ford issued a citation and posted on the property, as well as sent by first-class mail and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. The compliance date listed on the citation was 12/29 of 2022, which has been postmarked due to the filed appeal. On 1/5/23, we received an email from Sandra McCoy with vet bills for her dog. Her dog Jack is a 14-pound Jack Russell Terrier. He had multiple lacerations and punctures. He sustained severe injuries to his thoracic cavity and lungs. He had to be transported to 3 different veterinary hospitals for care. He had to be kept at a vet in Clarksville over the holidays because he needed to be in an oxygen chamber to stabilize him. He was then transferred to Nashville for his surgery. The total of the vet bills at this time is $9,415.46, and he will require ongoing care. The McCoys have provided pictures of Jack along with a video of the incident. We have also received calls from other concerned neighbors that have small children and their own dogs. The video shows Sandra walking to her mailbox with Jack on a leash. It clearly shows the Rottweiler charge her and grab Jack, shake him, and pin him down, and continue to shake him. It shows Sandra trying to get away from the Rottweiler and the dog continuing to advance on her until she is across the street. Sandra struggles with the dog for several minutes, and the Rottweiler will not leave until her husband comes out with a shotgun and fires a shot. The video shows the Rottweiler run back in the direction it came from. On 1/7/23, I received an after-hours call from police dispatch that the neighbors were complaining the vicious dog was running loose in its fenced-in backyard and was not confined according to the ordinance requirements. On 1/11/23, a letter was sent to the Guire residents, again outlining the requirements for transport, confinement, and requesting they come in compliance for the safety of everyone in the neighborhood. On 1/13/23, Ms. Guire called our officers and spoke with division supervisor at length about the letter they received and the requirements for their dog. She was very remorseful about the situation, said they wanted to do the right thing, and didn't realize they were breaking any rules. Brad stated he explained that she needs to walk her dog on a leash in the backyard and she cannot let it run loose. And she explained some of the measures they have taken to shore up the fence and make sure the dog doesn't get out again. She agreed that she will not walk it out front or take it around other dogs. She called again on 1/17 to say that she is still walking her dog on the leash, but that they also have 2 other dogs that run free in the backyard and did not want anyone to call and complain, thinking that she wasn't following the rules.
Mr. Dearborn, we have video and pictures that were submitted by the McCoy party. I do have to give a bit of a disclaimer that viewer discretion is advised. The video contains graphic images that are disturbing to young viewers and others. And before I play it, we're going to pause real quick in case anyone needs to leave the room or change the TV channel. Additionally, there's some pictures submitted by the McCoys. Again, a warning that they are graphic images and may be disturbing to some. These are the pictures directly after the incident, both at the local veterinarian and down in Nashville. And these are submitted photos from the 10th of January. And that's all we have, Mr. Debo.
Do we have,
Michael Guire, 1233 Lois Lane.
swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
So obviously, we were all disturbed by this. We are very thankful that the dog is fine. We are animal lovers. Our house, we have 3 dogs, a cat, a rabbit, a chinchilla. I think I got them all, but we are animal lovers. We were in close contact with them when their dog was dealing with these injuries, and we're very, very thankful and very sorry about the whole incident. There's no doubt. It was very emotional for all of us. The dog got out. We used to have a way to open the gate on the outside, from the outside. We have 2 gates. I've removed that and put padlocks on both sides. We've never had an issue with this dog before on our property or getting out. I didn't think it was even possible, to be honest. We have taken measures to fix the fence. I had a contractor come and examine the whole fence. We have a 6-foot privacy fence around the whole backyard. He replaced a couple posts that he thought maybe could be. The rest of the fence is deemed fine. Again, that video is very emotional to all of us. And the dog has never displayed anything like that before. I have pictures of the dog with kids, animals. We have a rabbit and a chinchilla and a cat that run around the house. This is not a vicious dog. This is a one-time, these 2 dogs don't like each other. There's no doubt in my mind. They used to walk the dog on our property, behind the fence, and they would bark and bark and bark. And then they got into an altercation, the other dog with them, on our property. So they communicate. Whatever they say, who knows? But these 2 dogs do not like each other. This dog does not have a problem with kids, any other dogs, people. He's never shown aggression toward people, never bit a person. He swims with kids. I have pictures of him with all the kids and their friends and their dogs coming over. This is not a guard dog. This is a family pet. And I understand if the video is the only thing you saw, you may think differently, but I've got 4 years of evidence and love and family with this dog. And although our primary concern was the well-being of their dog, now it's changed to the well-being of my dog. And I can tell you that although I'm guilty and I deserve to pay any fine, I'm not disputing that. What I do dispute is that this dog is a vicious animal, because I've lived with him since he was this big, and he's not. And the other thing I owe everyone is, yes, I owe everybody a guarantee that this dog will not come out of the yard, whether he has a problem with just that dog or any other dog, and that I guarantee. I've gone through steps, paid my contractor, we've locked the fence. He's going to be going to a training to determine what I can do to help him do whatever. And I'm waiting to see if he's deemed vicious. There's a different kind of training. So he's going to go to that training either way. But I just want him to be able to live his normal life, which is just in my house, in my yard. And we've also decided, me and my wife, he won't be jogging with her just because there's that one chance now that we see that we're not going to take that chance anymore. And again, I can't tell you how bad we feel. My wife was in tears for weeks over this, and we are very thankful that their dog is okay now. I have some pictures, I don't know if you want to see, of this dog. This is not scary Rottweiler, this is a big teddy bear that, I guess you can pass them around if you like.
I've got one question real quick, and Hillary can answer it, I'm sure. Has there been any discussion about criminal activity or criminal charges involving this attack?
There was discussion with the county attorney's office. I believe the neighbors contacted them about potentially having it handled as a vicious dog. The county attorney's office, Assistant County Attorney Jamie Spinks reviewed it with their Detective Kirk Clark. And the way the statute is written, it is written so that the vicious dog, it has to attack a person as opposed to another animal. And so they looked at it a couple of different ways and contacted me and said that they were going to leave it for the city to address since it was a dog-on-dog attack.
Then one follow-up question. I see you noticed that you've been in contact with the insurance company. Has your insurance company agreed to pay the medical
Yes,
bills?
the insurance company is working with them on the bill, and I've also told them that I'm giving the insurance company any information they need to ensure that they get their bill paid, and I'm also willing to help pay whatever they don't pay. So that's all being discussed. The numbers are up in the air.
All right, thank you.
Was your homeowner's insurance carrier aware you had a Rottweiler?
Sir.
If you want to address this email that your wife provided as well from the.
Oh,
daycare
I'm
place.
sorry. Well, there's also some pictures up there. This dog is a well-socialized dog. He, like I said, he jogs with my wife. He used to jog 6 miles a day and meet everybody along the way in the neighborhood, kids, dogs, people. He also would go to doggy daycare 3 days a week. There's a couple pictures of there on there. For a while, he was the poster child of the website for them. And this is a letter from the manager of the doggy daycare about him and his behavior there. I mean, it's why it's just, I don't know. He's not a vicious dog, in my opinion. I think he has a problem. These two dogs have a problem with each other. And it is my obligation, obviously, to keep my dog away from that dog because he is obviously the bigger dog. So the other dog is going to get the worst of it for whatever reason, obviously. But I understand it's my job to keep him away from him, and I will. I promise.
Why do you think they have a problem with one another?
I don't know. Like I said, the dog, he used to walk his dog behind my fence on my property, between my property and the field, and then maybe they barked at each other, something like that. But he does not have ever shown any animosity or aggression toward any other dog or a person, ever. And that's why I can only, using common sense, it's these two dogs. And for whatever reason, and maybe the animal trainer that I'm going to take him to, maybe he can explain it to me. But I can't explain it. I can explain, and I guarantee you I'm not telling the truth. This dog has never had a problem with another dog or a person ever. Around small children, he's around my small children as they grow up. I wouldn't hesitate to bring him around anyone. Now I will, obviously, just to protect, but he's never shown anything. It's honestly these two dogs.
I think the McCoys are here, and the other incident was actually their other dog. So it has been more than
That
one
was
dog.
my other dog, too. That's what I'm
And
saying.
that was not the same dog? I mean, I just want.
He was there, but that's not the,
Okay. And it was the field behind, they're saying?
no, it was on my property. It was on,
If you wouldn't mind coming up.
Well,
First, let me swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, if you'll give us your name and go ahead.
Okay. My name is Sandra McCoy, and I live at 1241 Lewis Lane.
Go right.
Okay. On that particular incident, I have never had, any direct, so like again, I have nothing against the neighbors. I just want to make sure that dog is contained because I'm the one that had to stare that dog down. That dog was foaming at the mouth with blood in its mouth, and I'm watching my dog nearly bleed out. I am telling you, I don't know why, but maybe it is a dog versus dog, but I had to witness that attack and be part of it, and I was pulled to the ground. No, it did not bite me. No, I wasn't hurt severely. I've been asked. Did it mark me emotionally? Yes, I still vision that. I'm not going to seek any kind of care for that. I've been asked. No, the law won't make him pay the bills. That's on him whether he pays the bills. The law says that dog is valued at $1,800. That $9,000 is his goodwill, whether he wants to pay it or not. But I have to see that dog attacking me, and that dog was vicious to me, and it attacked me and my dog. I was in the middle of that. And I had to stand my guard. If I let it down, even move down to help my dog, it approached. That put me in the way. What if that was a child walking a dog? Any dog. So if that dog is vicious to my dog, it can be another dog and another child, another person. I have to say that that dog, as long as it's contained in his fence, that is fine. But if it is out on the street, that dog is a vicious dog to me. And that's all I want to convey. I am not in any way saying that it's not a good dog to them and all their friends. But that dog has hit, or one of the dogs, I don't know which, if we walk even their way, I haven't walked their way for over 2 years because one of their dogs hit the glass as hard as you can trying to get out of that house towards us. We are just keeping that dog because it's my son's support dog. My son is trying to get a fence built in Florida so he can take him. That was his support dog in college. It is much valuable to us than $1,800. I would have done anything to save my dog's life, and that's what we did when we got him the care. He would not have lived the night if our vet hadn't have made the call to Nashville. He couldn't get him in without a waiting list for 3 to 4 hours. That's why we had to go to Clarksville for 24 hours, then to Nashville. Our dog would not have made it, and I had to hold it in my arms and transport it each leg of the way. Some of the time with all of the different IVs, and it would not last long without oxygen because there was damage to its lungs and its internal thorax. Those marks, it broke every rib, and it said some ribs multiple times. Our dog is back to being a loving dog again. I am proud of that. I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful for that they've been supportive. They said that they have made the measures to make it where I feel safe to walk to the mailbox. I honor that. I think if they can maintain a safe environment for that dog to live free in its backyard, that's fine. My problem is I do not trust it on the streets. I really think that it should be ruled at least that it cannot be out around other dogs and support. And yes, it didn't have its owner to tell it what to do. That was the occurrence that there was no owner. There was no one. I called Christine's name, and I don't even know Christine. I know Christine through my husband because he does odd jobs for her and mows. I work in Clarksville, and I was off that week for my vacation. I lost my full vacation running the dog to the vets. I'm saying that dog attacked, and if the other dog is the one that attacked my dog, then they have 2 dogs that need to be contained. I don't care if it was 1 or 2 dogs. And I will say there was a mistake. The last 2 pictures that said January, that should have been a 22. That was the other dog of ours that was attacked. So yes, we've not had 1 incident. 2, we forgave the first one because it was after the tornadoes. Everyone was doing fence repairs. They had patched their fence. Yes, there was a wide open field. My husband mows the yard behind the neighbor in between, and he kind of keeps that area clean. So yes, sometimes we walk down around thinking the fence is safe. We didn't know a dog was going to come through the first time, but we forgave. This time, it's a second occurrence. To me, it's only 1 on file legally, but it's the second occurrence to me personally, and something has to be said that this or these dogs have to be contained. I'm also afraid of the dogs between the two of us, and I expect to handle that with the neighbor there, because they have a dog house that lets their German Shepherds look over at our dog. We go out and walk because we don't have fences, and we use that to walk to keep our health. And we never thought we would have dogs until 5 years ago. We took in a stray. And we took in this second dog because it was required for my son's psychiatric health. And he was coming home for Christmas that weekend, and his dog was destroyed. He was the one that stopped in Nashville and got the dog to eat again, and so that it could recover, or it wouldn't have come home when it did. So I'm telling you, it's all about that the dogs need to be contained. Number one. And number two, I don't think they should be out without a leash or even on a leash if they were to get away. And that's my opinion.
Ms. Ford, I've got a couple of questions real quick. Yeah. Can you declare this dog as a vicious dog yourself, or does the board need to do that for you?
I have declared it up until this point according to what our city ordinance states and says, and it meets the definition of what a vicious animal is in our city ordinances.
Okay. And I think we've got in writing here, can you make sure everybody is aware of what that means? And I guess I'll follow that up. What happens if you get a confirmed report that you can confirm that the dog is loose or not under control by its owner?
They can be cited for not being vicious animal, not in enclosure, which is another city ordinance violation that we have. In the ordinance there, you can read that it states the exact stipulations of the enclosure that it has to be confined in, and that it can only be walked from the house to the enclosure by a leash with a muzzle, and it can only go on a leash with a muzzle to the bed.
So it needs to be on a leash, even in its own backyard, within the fence at all times?
Yes, it must remain in the enclosure that fits the dimensions that's drawn out there. I don't know if I can read it, I have my glasses on. The outdoor pen, where do you want me to start? Such shall keep, do y'all have a copy of that? Okay. Do you want me to read it, or can you read it? Okay. Because I can't, I don't have my glasses on. I will say, and I think with our experience, 9 times out of 10, I don't know if that even might be a little low, a lot of our dog bite cases that we handle, dog bites, are due to people trying to break up dog fights. That's our most common dog bite case that we do, is when people get involved because they're going to try to save their dog by all means necessary, and that is most of the time when people get bit is by trying to break up a fight or break up 2 dogs. So
I got a couple questions. Mr. Guire, when this happened, was anybody home at your household?
No, I had just run out to pick up my daughter.
Obviously, you're remorseful, and we respect that. I just got to tell you, I hope you never harbor any ill will towards the McCoys, because a lot of households in Bowling Green, I grew up here, a lot of households, they have shot your dog.
I understand that.
So
I
obviously,
actually thanked them for not shooting my dog. I
obviously,
did.
some restraint, was exercised, which was a monumental task, in my view. Last thing I'll mention, has your veterinarian aware of this?
I don't believe so.
I only say that because I have a next-door neighbor on one side whose daughter had a dog, similar story to yours, had never, kid-friendly, and they had a person over detailing a car, a stranger, and this dog went berserk and really injured the guy. And subsequently, the dog was examined by a veterinarian and had a tumor in its brain. And I know that's just anecdotal, but still, think about how bad you'd feel if another attack, took place. So.
Anybody else have any other questions or? I echo Mr. Holman that it looks like you guys are doing everything possible to make sure this doesn't happen again. From hearing your testimony, I do believe that, you know, you're trying with the dog, and we just have pictures and videos, but I believe you know your dog, and we're obviously very sympathetic to the McCoys for even having to go through this, because I know that had to be traumatic. With that being said, I'd like to make a motion to uphold the citation and fine in the amount of $104.57.
Second.
Dearbone and LaPointe. Roll call.
Dearbone,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes.
LaPointe,
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
Sir, and like I said, we hope that this doesn't happen again, and seeing as how you're taking the measures needed, we hope that it doesn't, so thank you so much. Yes, ma'am. Am I correct that, yeah, when the dog is in the yard, yes, it does have to be on a leash?
Is there any process to appeal that or to prove that he can, I mean, is that forever? I don't understand the,
Give them note, is there appeal information in there?
No, it's not in there, but
Okay.
you have today's decision, 30 days, and you can appeal this to the Warren District Court. That's either Judge Gohagan, Judge Potter, or Judge Brown. It is de novo. Now, what that means is that it would be starting anew. That's up to you. You have an automatic right statutorily to do that. So you have 30 days from effectively, let's say, to
not to appeal the fine, that's not, to appeal the vicious declaration of the dog, that's,
Well, I think to do that, there's been a determination that it is vicious, so you would have to appeal the entire decision.
okay.
And I think if you go to the judge and say, we're not gonna complain about this and this, but I'm not here to give you advice about that. I am here to give you advice to tell you that you do have that right to appeal, and you have 30 days in which to do it.
Thank you.
In Circuit Clerk's office, first floor, Justice Center.
Thank you.
Now moving to a new business, case number 3, code compliance, case number 2022-3045, citation number 2022-5672.11, 1107 US 31W bypass, owner Michael Beatty, officer Jared Poteet. And this is a request authorization to enter property and abate a nuisance. And
Jared unfortunately was not able to make it tonight, so I'm going to be presenting the case on his behalf.
Yeah.
We also have Marisa here, who is a city employee, who will be giving the other half of this narrative as well as we kind of go through here. So this case is the result of a complaint case that started on May 9th of 2022 due to tornado damage not being fixed. During the inspection, the following violations were observed: accumulation of landscape debris, duty of maintenance of private property, and roofs and drains. A notice of violation was sent to the PVA listed owner and address on that date with a compliance reinspection date of the 19th of May. On that original NOV, the only thing on there was the tree and the tree debris. The roof disrepair and other disrepair to the house was not on the initial NOV. The property was re-inspected on the 19th at that compliance date and remained in violation. Here are the pictures from the initial notice of violation from the 9th of May. On the 27th, I believe that might be a misprint on the slide there. It should be the 27th. Jared spoke with Mr. Beatty, who owns the property. That gentleman said that he is still working with the insurance company to get things cleaned up, and they are refusing to pay him what he needs to fix the property. Jared then spoke with him again on the 10th of June, leaving a voicemail from Mr. Beatty asking for an update on the insurance situation, and left another voicemail on the 23rd of June. So over a month now at this point from the initial reinspection. On the 14th of July, Jared attempted to call Mr. Beatty again, but his phone went straight to voicemail, and he left him a voicemail. On the 11th of August, Jared was able to speak with Mr. Beatty at his residence. He stated that the insurance company did issue him some checks, but they weren't enough for him, so he did not accept them. Jared asked him if he had a plan to remove the tree and fix the gutters, as it had been 9 months since the tornado. Mr. Beatty stated that he was waiting on the insurance company, and Jared advised Mr. Beatty that the trees needed to be cleaned up. Jared asked Mr. Beatty to take pictures of the trees and then have them removed so that there was record of it for the insurance company. Mr. Beatty stated that he would work on it. Jared advised Mr. Beatty that he had until the end of the month to have the trees removed, or the city would have to start the citation and fine process, and he replied, "Do what you have to do." On the 31st of August, the property remained in violation on an inspection, and a first citation was issued. That was mailed to the PVA listed owner and address and posted on the property, and it had a compliance date of the 12th of September. The additional violations of the roof disrepair, the gutters hanging down and that sort of thing, as well as duty of maintenance of private property, were added to that citation. So the pictures you see here are the citation posted on the door, the tree, the first section of the tree closer to the bypass itself. And it's a large tree there blocking the sidewalk up to the house. Here's the second portion of the tree back towards the carport, and the roof disrepair where you see the gutters hanging down and the damage to the roof that's covered by a tarp. This is the back side of the property, closer to the alley where the tree sticks out and kind of comes onto the adjacent property. On the 12th of September, the property remained in violation. A second citation was issued, and a copy was sent to the PVA listed owner and address by certified and first-class mail and posted on the property. Compliance date was the 22nd of September. Again, here's the posted citation with the tree. Tree from the front and the back, and showing the gutters and the roof disrepair on the 12th of September. On the 22nd of September, the property still remaining in violation on the reinspection. Jared sent a text message to Mr. Beatty advising him of a second grant that the city had received to remove fallen trees from the tornado. The text contained a picture of the flyer and information on how to sign up for the free service. Jared also went to Mr. Beatty's house and posted this flyer on the front door of the property so that he could sign up for the free service. So it would be absolutely free for the tree to be removed. All he has to do is sign a piece of paper allowing the city to enter his property. Jared and I spoke about this situation, and we decided to extend the compliance date in order to allow him to sign up for that. On the 28th of September, Jared called with Farah in the Public Works Department. She advised that Beatty did not sign up for the tree removal, and so he was again cited. The third citation here was posted on the property and sent by first class and certified mail. Again, the damage and disrepair there to the roof, and the tarp is starting to become tattered there. At this point, the property owner had also started parking his vehicles on the front yard, so he had a Jeep that was parked there for a while under a cover, and his pickup truck because he couldn't get them into the carport or the driveway because of the tree, so which of course is a code violation. We also had some cases for him not mowing his lawn in the meantime because of the cars and the tree. Again, you can see the disrepair to the home here and the top half of the tree that's closer up to the carport. Let's see. So on the 12th of October, Jared and I called Matt Powell and Farah over with the Public Works Department to explain this situation. We read them the case notes from the beginning of May all the way to that point, and asked them for any help that they could provide because they were administering the free tree removal program. We provided them the owner's phone number, and Public Works said that they would call him directly and try to persuade him to sign the consent form so that, again, the city could remove it for free. Matt Powell was also aware of the situation, trying to come up with a different method. He went to the property himself and tried to get any contact with Mr. Beatty. At that point, we spoke with Marisa Brown, who is helping to contact Beatty, and she is with the Tornado Long-Term Recovery Group. And Marisa, I will turn the next part of this over to you if you want to read the part of the narrative that you've gone through here.
Hi, I'm Marisa Brown. I'm working at NCS in reference to the long-term recovery with the tornado. And as part of that, I've been helping with tree assessments with Public Works. And so on October 12th, I got an email from Farrah Wallace that advised that she wanted me to go and check with Michael Beatty at 110731W. She explained that code enforcement had been trying to contact him multiple times about the downed tree in his yard, and he does qualify for the SAFE grant, tornado damage tree removal, so it would be free to charge with him with that. And so at that time, I spoke with code enforcement about what all had been going on. When I worked the tree assessments on October 18th, I went by 110731W and tried to make contact with Mr. Beatty. I could hear that there was a radio or TV or something on inside, but no one responded to the door. I noticed at that point that the Jeep was parked under the portable carport at the rear of the driveway, and his truck was parked in the driveway next to the house. I also had a phone number for him, and so I called and left a message on that because he did not answer the phone. So at that point, I left a flyer on the front door to the house, and also one in the truck door. And I had also made a handwritten note on that, on each of those, that it was free to the residents. When I worked again on October 25th doing tree assessments, I went back. At that point, I noticed that the truck and the Jeep were both parked in the front yard, or that the truck was still in the driveway, but the Jeep was parked in the front yard. The info that I had left previously was not to be seen. So I went to the door again and didn't get any response to my knocks, and he wouldn't answer the phone. So again, I left another voicemail and again left the flyers with the handwritten notes on his door. When I worked tree assessments on November 1st, I went back again to this residence. The truck and the Jeep were still there. Again, the notifications that I had left previously were not where I had left them. So when I went to work at NCS on November 3rd, then I got with Mr. Shararotsky and asked him about information to see if they could help find any kind of family contacts or something in order to help reach him. And as we did, come to find out, he has a nephew that I'm very good friends with. And at that point, I started working with his nephew and his nephew's wife, trying to get in touch with him to inform them of this this free tree service that was available. And so when I talked to, when I spoke with his nephew that evening, he advised that he'd go by the next day and see if he could reach him. I advised the nephew that if he could reach him to call me immediately. I wasn't working the next day, but I would drive over there immediately to see about getting this paper signed so that we could get started on that, because I knew there had been issues with code enforcement and him. I never did hear anything from the nephew, and on November 9th, I texted him once again to see if he'd been able to contact his uncle, and he responded that he had tried, but he wouldn't answer the door or answer any phone calls. I checked again on November 20th, and he said that he had been over there, said that both of his vehicles were there, said that if the vehicles were there, that he knew he was there, but there again, he wouldn't come to the door or answer his phone calls. And so I explained to his nephew that the city was trying to help him and to get his tree out of the way free of charge because of the tornado grant, but I needed to be able to get a hold of him. He again stated that his uncle was so paranoid that he wouldn't answer the door or the phone for anyone. But he did say that he had a brother that my friend, his nephew, said that he had a brother in Alaska, and that said there was a little closer relationship between the brother and his uncle, and so he would contact the brother and see if the brother could get a hold of him. Well, I asked after that on the 27th, I had asked the nephew if they'd had any luck, and he said no, said his brother didn't have any luck with him either, said wouldn't answer the phone. So there again, I spoke with code enforcement on November 30th about the situation, and I was advised by the city that they were going to have to start charging him a per-day fee, and that the tree apparently was preventing repairs of the property, so it needed to be gotten up. And so I texted his nephew once again, and I spoke to him on December 1st. I spoke to him and his wife about the situation and explained that the city would have to put a lien on his house on the property and that a per-day fine would stack up quickly, and they didn't want that. The nephew said that he had tried repeatedly and wasn't having any luck, so his wife said, I'll go over there tomorrow and I'll see if I can get a hold of him. And I spoke to them again on December 4th, and he wouldn't respond. He won't respond to phone calls. He won't respond to anybody going over. He had even said that at one point, early on after the tornado, that some people were over there helping cut the tops out of the trees and stuff, and he ran them off the property. He didn't want them on the property. So he's not cooperating. They say he's extremely paranoid, and so he's paranoid and reclusive.
Picture you see on the screen here is from the notice of hearing for tonight's hearing that was sent to the property by certified and first-class mail and posted on the property to try to have the property owner here so that he could discuss his side of the story or try to get some sort of cooperation. As of today, the case has been open for 259 days. The pictures here you see on the screen are from the current situation there from today. So the tarp has pretty much disintegrated. The roof is still has damage. The other side of the roof coming down the bypass is in disrepair. And the tree now has started to accumulate a large amount of garbage, scattered trash, leaves, and again is encroaching on the neighbor's property as well. So our request from staff is for authorization to enter the property and have our city contractor remove this nuisance.
I have a question real quick, either for, I guess, Hillary or Mr. Broderick. One, is it possible to combine two motions here? Because I have concerns, given the history here. If a contractor shows up, they're going to be told to get off the property, and we're right back to where we are now. About doing the same,
Can you do one
doing
and
that
two?
and a probative fine combined?
I think if they don't run into that issue and the nuisance, the tree part is abated, the question is, do you still want a per day fine for the other issues, or is your per day fine just related to the tree?
Both.
Both, okay. Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah, because we're still gonna be stuck, no matter what. If you get the tree taken care of, the roof is still damaged, and it won't
That's
put it in
exact-
compliance, correct?
You're absolutely correct, and that's why we have been hesitant. Just like mowing grass or picking up debris, after a citation, city ordinance allows us to enter the property and remove the nuisance so that it takes care of the case and we close the case. That's the difficulty here, is that by just removing the tree, it's still not solving the overall problem. We still have the rest of the problem there, but the tree is a nuisance to adjoining properties. It's creating more because he's parking. So that's why, in the interest of full due process, we wanted him to have the opportunity to be here, present it to the board, and under your guidance, determine what the best course of action is.
How long do you allow somebody to avoid you until it becomes like a welfare check? I mean, it sounds like he's kind of bad off anyways. You know, I mean, if you go to the house and can't get a hold of him but know he's there.
That's the thing, is we know there's activity. He takes the thing off the door within hours of us posting it. The vehicles are coming and going. I mean, all other appearances, you know, if the tree wasn't laying there, we wouldn't think anything of it. This gentleman would just live his life and we wouldn't be involved with it at all. So it's only because of this that we would even know that he is that reclusive. So, you know, I don't have a good answer as to a check on the welfare or, you know, when we kind of cross over into that.
question becomes, and maybe I missed this in the discussion, does he have insurance on this? This is not a bad structure. This is,
No, and that's apparently part of his displeasure with the situation is that he has insurance. Insurance initially was going to give him an amount. He said, no, that's not enough. He haggled with the insurance company, and finally they said, here's the bottom line, and they physically sent him the checks, and he won't cash the checks, and because he's not accepting their amount. So then we were trying to say, well, if we take the tree away for free, even if you believe the amount is not enough to repair everything, now you have one less thing to worry about, and you can, use the rest of the amount of money for the roof, but we can't even get through to him to explain that.
So literally,
option that I see is there are various forms of guardianships for people, and a limited guardianship to say, okay, we're going to control his money to repair the house. He can do what else he wants to do there now, but it's a process.
May I address that?
Yeah.
In speaking with family, he and the two nephews are the only family left. This is it would be Mr. Beatty's grandparents' house. I mean, this is a house and property that has been in the family for generations, for decades. And the only family members left are my friend and his brother. And they are beside themselves as far as, they know that he has mental issues, but they do not know what to do. And so a check welfare might be something, but I mean, they already know they already know he's reclusive and paranoid. And as far as him living by himself and taking care of himself, I mean, he is getting out. The cars are being moved. But my friend did say that when the insurance company sent him the check, he said it wasn't enough, and he ended up tearing the check up. So.
It was besides the point. I was just curious as to why, all these attempts were made and then that wasn't in there. That's the only question.
so it almost seems like, in a way, by doing this, we help him because there's a lot more things going on with him and with the circumstances. So by doing this, whether he wants it or not, because clearly he's got other things going, we are at least hopefully taking one thing off of his plate and helping the nephews out and kind of at least starting a process that could help him and help the whole circumstance. It just seems like nothing is going to be resolved if we just leave things as they sit, so.
This is the only hope for the neighbor. I mean, how would you like to look out and see that 255 days? I mean, that's ridiculous.
If he does tell the contractor to leave, does he have that right at that point?
So, yes, certainly, and the contractor would leave, and chances are with a situation like this, someone from our office would also be there, or a couple of us would be there in support of the contractor, and hopefully if he comes out, speak with him and explain the situation. But if he demands that we leave his property, we would still leave his property. And at that point, if the board has authorized that we would issue, the authorization for a per-day fine, then we could get that ball rolling since you've already made that authorization, if that's the combination motion that you guys want to make.
unfortunately, your family's gonna have to pony up, figure out a way to do something about it. That's the option.
From his mental standpoint.
I'll make a motion to authorize code compliance contractor to enter the property and remove the tree as well as a per-day fine.
Second.
Point, Holman, roll call.
Beerbone,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes.
LaPointe,
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
So staff is clear, you want us to initiate the per-day fine even after we remove the tree because of the roof disrepair and everything else, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Got it. Yeah, for the second round. But hopefully the pictures will have the tree gone and we'll just be dealing with the roof.
All right, moving to case number 4, code compliance, case number, 2022-2238, 1504 North Sunrise Drive, owner Aislinn Holdings, Officer Heather Lashley, and this is a request for a per-day fine.
This case was the result of a proactive inspection on April 12th, 2022. During the inspection, the following violations were observed: improper parking. A courtesy letter was sent to the PVA listed owner and address on that date with a compliance reinspection date of April 18th, 2022. On May 6, 2022, the property was reinspected and remained in violation. During the inspection, the following violations were observed: improper parking and an unlicensed, inoperable motor vehicle. I sent a notice of violation to the PVA listed owner and address on this date with a compliance reinspection date of May 16, 2022. Citations were issued on May 18th, May 31st, and July 26th. The following violations were listed on the citations issued on July 26th: improper parking, unlicensed, inoperable motor vehicle, glazing, protective treatment, roofs and drainage, and tires. At the August Code Enforcement and Nuisance Board hearing, a request was approved for per-day fines for this property. You'll see the first per-day fine there where I posted it, and then a copy of it. And a $100 per-day fine citation was issued on September 6th. You'll see the pictures there: broken windows, protective treatment, vehicles parked in the yard. And I'm happy to report that the vehicles are no longer there. We're still out of compliance, but the vehicles have been removed, fortunately. But I posted it on the property, sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. As you can see today, this is how the property stands. We still have the siding that is off of the house. We still have broken windows. We now have boards in the windows. Those are new. Still have some gutter issues today. Again, there's the broken and boarded windows. We have a front storm door that's now bashed in. That was new today. And you can see we're missing some downspouts and such there in the corner. And there's that door, you can see chipping and peeling paint. It has broken glass in that door now. That is new. And then another boarded window on the back of the house. So unfortunately, we've just seen an even quicker decline since the first per-day fine that we issued. Again, more broken windows. And you see the window there on the left. I saw today that there's not even a window pane in that bottom portion of that window. It is open. So unfortunately, that's where we are. That's the back of the property. You can see there's an accumulation of scattered trash and just some junk spread throughout. The outbuildings, the condition that they're in currently. The 60-day period has now elapsed and the property remains in violation. As you see, I'm requesting authorization to issue a second per-day fine citation, and this case has now been open for 285 days and remains in violation.
With Aislinn Holdings, any communication from them?
The only communication I've had is that they have a new property manager, Ron Cummings. And, you know, Ron was aware, and I'd even told him that I was bringing this to the board for a second per-day fine recommendation. And he told me he told me he could get to it if he could get to it, and you could see it's not been gotten to.
How long ago was that?
Probably 2 months ago or so, maybe even 3, that he took over for Aislinn Holdings. So there's 1207 Fair, which I know that we're familiar with, 1500 North Sunrise. I mean, they're still all in the same condition that they've been in. I mean,
Do you live in it?
no. I'm sorry, 1504, no. 1207 Fair, no. 1500, there are, North Sunrise, there are people living at 1500 North Sunrise. So, but most of his properties, they're vacant and just not taken care of at all, as you see.
If everybody's done, I'll go ahead and make the motion to authorize the issuance of a per day fine citation amount of $100 to run for a period of 60 days or until the property is in compliance.
Second.
Alderman Lapointe, roll call.
Earbone,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes.
Lapointe,
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
All right. Moving to our comments and announcements, Brad, if you will introduce our new team member.
So, very excited to introduce our new code compliance officer, Josh Langlois, who's here with us. Josh comes from Nashville, Tennessee originally. He was a police officer there for 8 years, moved to the Bowling Green area in 2017, currently lives in the Edmonson County area with, Edmonson County, with his wife and 2 kids. We are very excited to have him, his wealth of experience from the police departments that he's been with. He's been in training now for, I guess, a month and a half, and is doing phenomenal. So we're really glad to have him on board, and ask that you welcome him to the staff.
Welcome, we're glad to have you. You want to say anything? Well, we're happy to have you. Our next meeting will be February 28th. Do we have anything, council? All right. If nothing else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.